Hello friends, it's Cindy Brumbaugh from CindyLeeBDesigns.com, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'd like to show you a fun card I made using the delicate Baubles dies that are in the mini catalog July to December 2021. Now, I used almost everything in there except for one. Now this is kind of a sleeper here. It's like kind of tucked in here. And you see on this page, I think it's page 40, yeah, on 40, you see this stamp set and you're like, okay, those are some big ornaments. And then you see a die here, but it really doesn't do it justice, I don't think. Then you go back to the back of the catalog where they now put all the bundles. And when you look on page 69, you can see these actual dies up close, bigger. And it really just shows you the detail in them, and I'm going to show you the versatility in them. I actually got the dies first thinking I'd get the stamp set later, and actually I didn't even get the stamp set yet. And I had a lot of people asking me, where's the die that says Mary? Where's the die that says Joy? So I was like, oh, they're back there in these ornaments. So I'm going to show you how I made this card here using some different products here. So in the delicate Baubles dies, you have two dies. You have this round ornament, and then you have this more sculpted here, fancy Victorian ornament here. Now you have two dies that'll fit into here and two dies that will fit into your round one. This one is the Joy, and this is a snowflake, and you've got a tree, and then you've got the merry and bright. So what I did on this card is I kind of used three of them, except I did not use the Joy one. I tried to, but it just did not come out exactly the way I wanted to do. So on this card, it looks a little crooked when I'm looking at it here. I decided to use some classic red and green. I love shaded spruce for the tree here. So what I did is, I gotta have all my little pieces here, but I'm gonna show you what we did here. So on this card, I used the Merry Melody embossing folder from Stampin' Up. It's a 3D embossing folder, and the interesting thing about this one is you naturally wanna use your embossing folder with the Stampin' Up logo down towards the front, down towards your bottom when you run it through. However, if you do that, your music's gonna be upside down. So you need to look at the actual treble clef bass. See, I was going to try to make you think I knew music, but I don't. I'm not sure which is which. That's the treble clef. Yeah, that's the treble, right? Yes. Treble clef, bass clef. Anyhow, it was some musical person that brought it to my attention that the music was upside down on the embossing folder. So you want to make sure that your sweet little music is going the right way. And this music actually is Joy to the World. And so you're going to put your embossing folder. I wanted to have those pretty little things, so I put them clear to the edge. And then I knew that my music, well, more than likely, when you put it on your card, you want to make sure it's not upside down, especially if you're not musically inclined like me, which I am not. However, confessions of a homeschool mom, I did tell my 3 children that they could not graduate high school. It was a requirement that they play an instrument. So I did have my older son play the guitar, and my middle and youngest, my middle son and my youngest daughter played the piano. They didn't really stick with it, but they did take their lessons. So they would know all this musical stuff. I wouldn't. But hey, I was the teacher just to show them where to go. So looking at this card here, we're just going to take a look at what I did. So the first thing I did on this card is I made a card base of shaded spruce, and that shaded spruce was half sheet, were 11 by 4 1/4. I scored at 5 1/2. So that gave me a portrait style opening from the bottom. So then I wanted to border it. So I just came in and did 4 by 5 1/4. Remember, all the measurements and the products I use and the colors are all on my blog post, CindyLeeBDesigns.com, under the search of Delicate Baubles Dies. And you'll also find underneath the YouTube description, you'll find my online store that links to all the items, and it also has the measurements and products. But you can also see where it says visit my blog here. Press that link. It takes you right over to cindyleebdesigns.com. You'll find additional photos and tips on this card. And I can hear Jim down there working out, so I hope we don't, I hope you're not hearing the background noise here, because my stamping center is in a loft area now, which I love because it's really open, except for that's maybe one of the downfalls of it. But here we've got our 4 by 5 1/4, and of course you knew that I die cut my red ornament out of there because I knew I was going to be covering it up. So that was my first step here, is getting that ornament out of there. And then I'm going to cover up that opening with my Merry Melody embossing folder, and that's 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, so then I took and I die cut. You can layer these inside of each other when you die cut them. So I ran this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and out came this Merry and Bright, and that is going to go on our red. So what I'm going to do is do that right now, and I'm going to, I hear Jim down there singing. He loves to play, oh, and I see I have a couple little places that I need to pop out. There. He likes to play Christian music when he works out, so I do enjoy hearing him do that. When my little granddaughter's over and I'm putting her down for her little nap, I always say, hey, I'm making a video. I'm putting our little girl down. And he's like, okay, I'll be quiet. And by the time I get up 2 steps upstairs, I hear him singing. He just can't help himself. When you gotta praise the Lord, you gotta praise the Lord, I guess. Or you gotta pray to the Lord, you can get your workout done. That's what he tells me, because I need to do that just to be able to get done. So I'm gonna put that gold foil die onto my red. Now, just in preparation for what I'm gonna do, this die set also has this hanger here. And what I did was I die cut that also in gold, and then I'm gonna put a glue dot. And I know I had my glue dots sitting here. I just used them. Oh, there they are. I covered them up with the silicone mat. So I'm just gonna kind of make this a little narrower because I have my bigger glue dots here. And I'm just gonna put a glue dot right on the back of that bow. And then I'm gonna thread that gold holder up through there. And I'm gonna get it positioned. You shouldn't let it. I'm gonna get it positioned right in that hole right at the top. And then I'm gonna press down to adhere it with that glue dot. So there we go. Now, the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be putting it here and folding it underneath the embossed white panel before I put it onto the red. But I wanted to show you another fun thing you can do with these dies. Now, you could cut these words out, as you've probably seen online. But what I did here is I'm gonna get my, here it is. I'm gonna get my take your pick tool out so I have it. I die cut 2 of the snowflake ornaments. So what I did was I took the detailed die and stuck it inside the open ornament die, ran it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I did it twice. And then you can just pop out all these little pieces. And even though we have the texture and the visual appeal of the music here, I still wanted to show you this fun thing you can do with the snowflake die. Okay, now I have some vacuuming to do when I'm done here. So what we're gonna do is take our paper snips, and we can now make snowflakes out of this. So you just go along those little diamonds that are on the side here, and you just snip them right along the edges there. Whoop, there we go. And we just do another snip. There you go. And another snip, another snip, and another snip here. And we have 1 more to go, I do believe. And yep, no, we have 2 to go. Remember making those snowflakes? Oh gosh, I made so many snowflakes when I was a kid. Oh my gosh, in elementary school, I'd just come home at night and make all those cutout snowflakes. I've got to go online and find out how to do that again. Oh my gosh. I did that, and I also crocheted some and then put it into Mod Podge. So anyhow, these, even though we have the texture here, I wanted to put a little more on there, and that's what I put 2 of these snowflakes. Now, wouldn't it have been nice for me to have them both cut out, but I wanted to show you what they look like. So I'll just quickly snip these here. And another little, but I really like the fact I saw a card that had a snowflake, and it wasn't the wonderful snowflakes that we already have that are so easy to use. You can just pop them right out of, let me grab them, I have them here. These wonderful snowflakes, you can just pop them right under here. They have like a kind of a glossy, iridescent look. 24 of these in a pack for $6. Great. You just pop those right out. But you can also have a little cutting therapy here and just make your snowflakes right out of these little delicate bauble dies. And they're a little sturdier too, so that's great. So I wanted to put 2 of those on there. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and put a couple dimensionals here on the back of this card. On the back of the ornament, leaving space around the edges for me to tuck in my snowflakes where I want them to be. And then I can come back in if I need to put some more dimensionals on. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do is take off these and mount this onto our embossed panel. Then we are assured that we're not gonna forget to tuck in our little holder there. So I'm going to just move this side a little bit right here, making sure I've got my music notes going the right way. And see, I'm going to pop those dimensionals there. Now I have room to slide my snowflakes in, but I also can tuck, make sure I get it there. I can tuck in that holder so I can make sure that I've got it straight, fold it over, and adhere it to the back. And I do like the gold with the gold. I tried it with white and it got hidden, so you kind of do need to use the gold. So then now we can put this onto our red panel. So what I'm gonna do is what am I doing now? Okay, there we go. I was going a little too fast. I thought I was getting it on there. I'm just gonna put, I think it's, oh, it tore my paper because I think of the embossing. Okay, so let me see here. But we are not stopping, we're on a roll. So here we go. Putting that on the red with a nice border around that. Once again, since this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, this is 4 by 5 1/4, and this is 3 3/4 by 5. And then that's going to end up going on to the front of the card. What am I doing here? Oh, I think it's to the end. There, I was doing it too heavy. Okay, now I've got red cardstock stuck to my finger. Oh gosh. Do you know what I was doing? Is you need such a lighter touch with the Stampin' Seal Plus. If you're finding issues with, you need a very light touch with that. As opposed, I find that I give more of a firmer pressure with the Stampin' Seal. So now we're just gonna put that onto our shaded spruce. Such a bright, cheery Christmas green. Okay, so we've got that front done. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop our snowflakes under there. And what I did is I just cut off one side. Here I am trying to do it off to the side. So, and then you can just put a little bit of glue on your, can you guys hear Jim down there singing? He's walking by faith. Okay. Get a little glue on those little pieces there. Once again, if you use an adhesive sheet, you don't even have to use glue. Those adhesive sheets are really fun. Okay, so then you just put your snowflake in there, and if you want it to hang a little bit over the side, that's awesome. And that just gives another layer of fun to the card. And sometimes layering white on white. And then, like I said, just cut off some of this and bring our, get a little glue on here. Get some glue on those little bigger parts of the card, cardstock. And we're gonna pop this little snowflake at the top of this ornament here. Slide it under. Get this out of our way, and look at that. So then after I got that done, and I used the Merry and Bright detailed die, and then I used the snowflakes from that one, I then looked at this Christmas tree. I almost put him on the front there, but what I did is where is it? I die cut, oh, here it is. So I did that same thing. I took this detailed die and I put the bigger die around it, just like I did with the Merry and Bright, and I come out with this. And then I did that same thing. I just did some snipperoos with the tree. I just looked at the lines on the die and said, okay, that goes there. That goes there. I'm just going to cut the tree because I know I'm going to snip it at the end. We can just do that. And then just kind of go with the flow of the line, okay? And then right here, you want to go up. Actually, I am going to go this way, whichever way is easiest for you, okay? And then there's a little snip that's going to happen right there. And then there's a snip at the top here, right along that snowflake. And then when you're doing the star, you want to snip straight up so you get a point on your star there, and a little, there we go. Because if you snip it right at the top, then you're not going to have the star. And then down here, okay, more mess, there we go. And then we have our tree. And I just realized I did not have a piece of my, I have this piece cut, but I really wanted to have, but we'll go ahead and do it anyhow. I would normally have put in a 4 by 5 1/4, but since I have 3 3/4, sometimes it is nice to see a bigger piece of green. Okay, so we're gonna bring back our mat and put a little glue on our back of our tree, and we're going to adhere it to the white panel that's on the inside. So just putting a little bit of glue here on our tree, little dibble dabbles here and there. Grab that with your inky sticky paws. No ink. Actually, there's no stamping on this card. Did you notice that? Okay, then we're going to, now when I do this, I am going to use my grid paper, because if you look on this card, my trunk's a little off to the one side, so I wanted to make sure it was straight. So then you just put your tree adhered down there, come to the back, and snip off that little piece. And then I thought it was a little plain there, but you know what, I'm actually gonna cheat and put a little glue since I've got the glue out, and I'm just putting this glue in the corners. I always get crazy when I see demonstrators do this all over, because when you get a card, if somebody's done that to your, when it runs through the post office, now see that moved on me there. Okay, make sure he's straight. Because you know, everybody's tree is perfectly straight, right? Oh, this one time I will never have a real tree again, because Jim wanted a real tree, and now see, I moved that because I didn't get it done. Wanted a real tree, we got a real tree, and then it fell down while he was at work, and I had 3 little kids, like under 5. I was so mad at this real tree because I was trying to decorate it anyhow, and it was scratching me and everything. And so I just took the whole tree. We had doors that were in the living room that went out to the porch and the family room, and I yanked that tree. It was laying in the yard when he got home, and he goes, "What happened?" I'm like, "I don't want that. It fell over." So then he rigged it and everything to get it straight. So now we always have an artificial tree. Haha. So there, I noticed that this was kind of plain. So yes, I did. I went back with this die, and I had a little piece of gold, of course, that I never get rid of, and I put it behind that star, and I got a little star, and I haven't lost it since I made it. Put a little bit of glue in there, and we're gonna pop that star right in at the top of our tree. Ha, come on, cooperate there. Well, it's probably because I'm not using any of my tools. So let's get my tools out. But you do have to be careful with foil, because not only is it, I have no stickiness on that part of my hand. Not only is it easily scratched, but oh, if you get adhesive on it. Okay, so there we have our tree there. And that's when I did try to put the joy in here. I tried to cut joy out of red and like stick it in there, but it just didn't look like the word joy when I cut it out as easy as it looks like joy when you cut it out in the ornament. But if you want to experiment, you can. So there you go. You have a stampless card. It was all used, the die cuts, the delicate Baubles dies. Really cool. It's very versatile. You've got 4 different dies that can be put in 2 different ornaments, and then you can cut snowflakes out of it. And I use the Merry Melodies, oh, such a pretty embossing folder, and a little gold holder there, little tree on the inside. So you can really do a lot of things with this die set. So if you aren't inclined to get the stamp set, this is definitely a standalone die set. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. You can email me at cindyleeb@gmail.com. You can text me or call me at 724-323-2296 if you have any questions. Make sure you subscribe to my blog, cindyleebdesigns.com. I like to post Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and any other exciting news that has to be shared on a certain day. And you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I like to post on Wednesdays with a YouTube video, so you can look forward to that, and you'll be notified whenever you subscribe. So I appreciate all your comments and your encouragement on a continual basis. You make my heart happy and put a smile on my face. Thanks for buzzing by, friends.